First thing you will notice about this plane is it is a little beat up. So this plane's hit the ground a few times, but it's still held up pretty well. And I'm just going to go through how I built it and what's involved. Up front, the tape is just there to kind of get some of the white off. So when you fly, you don't get as much white balance issues. I need to get a more matte tape than this. So there's a board cam in here. 3.6 millimeter lens, so it's a fairly narrow field of view, but it's great for flying FPV in planes. And then I've got a gimbal mounted Firefly 6S. I got that on a Mini 3D Pro from Foyatech. So I've just taken the gimbal off the nose of my Twin Dream just to show you how I built it. So I cut the front deck off and then glued on this piece of 1/8 inch plywood and then added some styrofoam angle brackets and glued that all together to make it nice and solid. That just goes on with a couple of nylon bolts, and the holes are drilled tight enough that the threads of the nylon bolts actually also grab into the wood. And then on the front of it, I've got a piece of 1/8 inch plywood with a blind nut in the bottom, and that's all glued in. And then you just send another nut through the hole. And then I built a top plate for this. It's just a piece of reclaimed PCB, and I drilled 3 holes in it to hold the balls, and that sits underneath. So when it's on the plane, this just sits in here, and it all sits nice and flat and adds a lot of strength to the plane as well. Airspeed sensor on the side. I'm spinning 10x6 props, and that's on a Turnigy SK3 35, 36, 10, 50 kV motors. I got 2 of those on there. It'll pull 70 amps at full throttle, and I've got it set up so that the autopilot can't pull full throttle. I made my own buses to connect the wings together. One of the things that I learned the hard way from the first plane, I fixed on this plane, which is when you get to the field and you've got to make 1 million connections to get everything all hooked up because you like to put things in your wings to get them apart, it's really annoying. So in this one I built a bus. These are just standard servo lead connectors, and they're glued into a block of foam with lots of hot glue, and then that's glued into the cavity in the wing, and then this just mates together. So when you slide the wing together, they just slide together, and you're done. All your connections are made. When you slide this together, it just goes together, and you don't have to do anything. There, 12 connections made. I fly this on 1.3 gigahertz. Everything is laminated with lam film, so you can see it there. And then out on this wing, we have 915 megahertz data link radio. The data radio, and that all runs back to here, to these connections. So I've got strobes on the end of the wing. So I got a 2-watt white one and then a 2-watt red one on this wing. They blink at different patterns. It's all run by Arduino. One of the other cameras I carry around on my Twin Dream is this Mobius mounted on a 1-turn sail winch service. You can see it's up on a little bit of an angle. I cut that hole, made it very, very tight, and then I just drilled a hole in the plastic for the wires, standard connection, and this lets you do footage from behind the plane and look at the wings, and from the front. It also lets you see what the gimbal is doing, so there's some interesting video you can make with a camera like that. And then in the tail, I've got mounted Dragon Link 433 antenna. So that's the outside of the plane. Let's look at the inside. Okay, so inside the plane, I fly this with my home-built battery packs, 18650 GAs, 24 cells total. I fly it at 4S. Inside the plane, we have Bofang, which I use just as a scanner. That relays over the audio channel on the video transmitter. I'm flying this one with an APM 2.6. There's a 3-channel video switcher here, and then underneath is the Minim OSD. And I'll make a couple of separate videos about those because I found some pretty interesting things with that. So down here is my homemade Arduino controlled strobe. So that just takes a channel, and I got a few different patterns that I can run depending on where the channel is. So I'll make a video about that. I'm flying this one with Dragon Link right now. Unfortunately, Dragon Link only gives you 12 channels, and if I were to put tilt on this, or if I wanted to put another gimbal on here, I would be out of channels. So right now I'm one channel shy to use everything that's on the plane. So I've been playing with Open LRS, and we'll see how that goes. I'll make some videos about that in the future. And then up here under the black tape, right at the tail of the plane, that's the GPS receiver. And then down on the bottom there is a T-beacon. Still have a couple of ground loop issues, which is why I'm going to pull it apart. Mostly when I switch the camera feed to a camera that has a battery and a charger on it. So on this one you have Mobius, and on this one up here the GoPro clone. When you switch to those cameras, you get a lot of flickering in the OSD. So I have a ground loop somewhere that I need to sort out, and I will do that and pull the plane apart. So that's my quick overview of the My Twin Dream that I've built. If you'd like to see more videos about how it was built or some other planes, please check in the description below and check out the other videos on my channel. Thanks for watching.